Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Okay, well, you're now the second NHL guy that I've heard from in the last couple of days that say he's got to go. So what are you seeing?
Well, I'm seeing just way too many passes inside, player to player, lateral passes, not D to D inside the Oilers zone, but from below the goal line through coverage, on the half wall through coverage. There's a ton of one-timer goals. There's a ton of, even redirections that are finding their way through the seam. So, everyone's making a big deal, and every hockey guy or hockey radio guy now is talking about, the systems that they're using. Well, you have to, I look at Edmonton, they continue to play the exact same defense pairs every night. They're playing the same defensive strategy. They're beating their head against the wall. The team does have shortcomings on defense as to who their players are. I look at Darnell Nurse and Cody Ceci as one of the worst pairs in the National Hockey League when I watch them play defensively. They look really easy to play against in the defensive zone. And the coaching staff continues to put the pairings out the way they do. They haven't changed anything in the D zone. So to me, it's a really bad team when they don't have the puck. And I don't think you can blame the goaltenders there, because I don't think Patrick Roy and Martin Brodeur would make a difference right now.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
The Edmonton Oilers last year were the highest scoring team in the NHL. They are the fifth highest scoring team 5-on-5. They're 23rd in both categories this year. So your best guys, your big gunners, Nugent Hopkins, McDavid, and Draisaitl have no goals combined in the last 6 games. The Oilers defensively, they're just Santa Claus through the neutral zone. They're giving up chance after chance off the rush. It's awful. I think this is a collective fail by everybody involved, and they all got to do better.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey, everybody. That was from Monday's show. Jason Greger of Sports 1440 Edmonton. It's now Tuesday, and things have actually gotten worse for the Edmonton Oilers. Welcome inside your favorite daytime sports talk show. We are live on the Game Plus television network all across Canada and in 31 U.S. states, and also on the radio in Georgia, WQEE Metro Atlanta, live daily. Hello, Ryan O'Radio. And, of course, podcast and YouTube Live. If you're watching later in the day, thanks for making us part of your day. As let's bring in Moose. He's in Vancouver. As the pilots say, Darren, I don't know if they still say that. I haven't flown for a while, but they're like, thank you for making WestJet your choice of aircraft carrier today. There's a choice out there. Yeah, there's one other airline that we could have chosen. You know what I mean? But, yeah, thank you. In the case of sports shows, there are millions. So thanks for picking ours for the next 2 hours to have fun. And I'm ready to go. I'm ready to have fun. I've got props. I've got toys. I'm ready to rock. But what's happening out in Vancouver, Moose?
The sun's poking through. I just take a peek out the window here. The sun's actually coming out.
Nice.
Everything is not so much in Edmonton, but everything is great in Vancouver this morning.
Good. I like to hear that. Ryan O'Radio says, RP Show. Yeah, we're very big in Atlanta. We are Atlanta's NHL show. And right on cue, Julio Caravata will be joining us. He is 25 seasons the color voice of the BC Lions football team and Grey Cup champion punter and backup quarterback. He's in hour 1, and in hour 2, our good friend, 18th all-time in NHL penalty minutes, super pest Matthew Barnaby. And with that, I'm turning off the comments from the viewers as we jump into the Quick Six Show topics. Please, Director Jordan. Please and thank you.
Hell yes.
I will tell you, I'll tell you that the Sober Carpenter text line's open 902-518-3033. That's 902-518-3033. Sober Carpenter, non-alcoholic craft beers. Proudly supporting us, the RP Show, and our text line. We're going to open. Where's my bell? It's right here. We're going to open with Monday NHL leftovers. We got a lot of football to get to, and I should actually just map this out. Segment one's going to be a lot of hockey. Segment two of hour one will be a lot of football, both NFL and CFL. Then in hour two, it'll be whatever you people would like us to talk about. But we're going to open, as I say, with NHL leftovers. Kelly Yarncroc scored a second goal of the game 46 seconds into overtime to give the Toronto Maple Leafs a 6-5 victory over the Tampa Bay Lightning at Scotiabank Arena. I'm just going to read a sentence or two on every game, and then we'll come back on where it fits. You and I were both at NHL games last night. There were only 4, so the RP show was at half the NHL games on a Monday night. Austin Matthews had 2 goals and an assist. Mitch Marner had a goal and 3 helpers, and Matthew Nyes had a goal and 2 assists. Toronto was down 4-1 early. Nikita Kucherov had 2 goals and 2 assists just in the first period alone for Tampa Bay, who I'm sure would be happy with the point on the road. In Dallas, Boston rookies John Beecher and Mason Loire scored their first NHL goals less than 4 minutes apart in the first period, putting the Bruins ahead to stay. They beat the Stars 3-2. Here in Sunrise, Nick Cousins tied it for Florida with 57 seconds to go in regulation, and Carter Verhaeghe scored 126 into overtime to lift the Panthers past the Columbus Blue Jackets 5-4. And in Vancouver, in a game in which Darren was at, Quinn Hughes, Pius Suter, and Brock Besser scored in a 3:22 span of the first period, and Vancouver beat slumping Edmonton 6-2 for its 4th straight victory. Matthias Ekholm and Leon Draisaitl scored for the Oilers. Stuart Skinner stopped 26 shots. The Oilers have lost 3 in a row to drop to 2-8-1. Any idiot can sit and read the scores and the goal scores. A lot of idiots do. But not everybody's going to take you inside the games. And we'll get so your team, let me take you through my night. I'm in the press box at Amerint Bank Arena, which here in Sunrise, they're affectionately trying to get going. The Bank, like it's the first rink that's ever been named after a banking facility, institution. But anyways, I don't know if that's going to stick or not. But I was sitting with Junie Lindsay, Bill Lindsay's dad, the Panthers great and radio color guy. Junie's 92, and we're just minding our own business. I thought, Darren, while I sat there last night, this is like watching the game with my dad, because you know what? When the game's going on, me and Junie are just like this. And then in between periods, when the Zamboni is on, this is me and Junie. We don't need to talk. And that was the same as me and my dad. And he was a scout for 26 years in the NHL and 10 years before that in junior. And I would sit as a little grasshopper beside him and try and talk during the games. And he would turn and say, "Don't talk to me during the games." Because he was scouting. I wasn't offended. That's the way I was raised. And now I'm back doing it with 92-year-old Junie Lindsay. Now, having said all that, I'm getting to a point. I got my Alexander Barkov mini bobblehead. They were handing out 11,000 of these. I actually got 2. I opened one out of the box, and he's right here. And then I got my Alexander that'll probably stay in the box. We'll see. I haven't decided yet. But after the first period, Bill Lindsay comes out of the Panthers radio box, and he's like, "How about the Leafs?" And I'm like, "How about them?" I haven't even looked at my phone. He's like, "They're down 4-1. Tampa's hanging it on them." And I'm like, "Well, we'll see." In today's NHL, do you remember a year ago, we were talking about this, Darren, you and I, a year ago, the wild comebacks from down 4-1, 5-1. Remember that? 5-0, come back and win. That was a year ago. So I didn't think that the Lightning had put it to bed. I just knew that we were in for a wild game. And here in Sunrise, if you saw my tweet, I'm like, we got to get Elvis Merzlikins out of the net. He was not paying attention. If there's one thing that I watch, it's the goalies. He was in la-la land. And trust me, I've been there. I know the road. Get him out. The shots were 21-1, Florida, at one point in the first period. They were up 3-0. Columbus didn't come to play. And then they turn the tables and start playing, and they go up 4-3. The Blue Jackets go up 4-3. Cole Sillinger, our good friend, assisted on one of those goals. And then, as I said, Cousins tied it, and the Panthers went on to win in overtime. It was absolute bedlam. And I came home and went to bed and had no idea what happened in the Edmonton game. But you were there. So what was that like?
First, isn't it crazy how great the NHL is that these games are not over?
Yep.
Like, I remember it wasn't that long ago, a 2-goal lead midway through a hockey game, you could shut it off. The game was over.
Yeah.
You know, team goes up 3-1, it's done. Last night was really interesting. I tweeted early that the Oilers, this team, would be unbeaten if they played like this. The first 10 minutes, it reminded me of how you described that Panthers Jackets game. It was ding, 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 zing, zing, zing. I don't think the Canucks touched the puck in the first 10 minutes. The shots were 18-2 halfway through the first period. They were on pace for over 100 shots in the hockey game, but Thatcher Demko kept them in it. Edmonton finally scored to go up 1-0, but Demko kept them in it, and you kind of knew it was coming. And then Vancouver came down, tied it, took the lead, made it 3-1. It was over. The crowd was all over Stuart Skinner. They never recovered. And Vancouver went zing, zing, zing and started, playing Harlem Globetrotters hockey with Edmonton. And it's what you'd said about the Canucks early. You saw this when they came to Florida. And I never really quite got it because I didn't watch enough of the Canucks. But when they make a mistake, when they get pinned in their own zone for an extended period of time, they're not folding. Like after that 10 minutes, they could have folded. They didn't. They just hung in there, got comfortable, and then started skating and just hung it on Edmonton. And for the Oilers, as that game started going, it got more unraveled. They started coming unglued, and McDavid got frustrated. Draisaitl took a 10-minute misconduct in the third. The coach got kicked out of the game. So it was rough for Edmonton and the Oiler fans in attendance, and there was a lot of them in Vancouver last night.
There's a lot of Oiler fans everywhere. I live with one, by the way. So her mood has been what we would call surly with the state of the Edmonton Oilers right now. Yeah. By the way, we've got comments coming in about the poppies that Darren and I are wearing. And I noticed Wayne in Victoria, BC says, nice Canadian flag in the middle of the poppy. Anybody that's worn a poppy knows why I did that. I've had people come at me and say, you're defacing the poppy. That's not proper. I got it from a member of the military, somebody that I recovery coached. It is, if it's okay with the military, it's certainly okay with me. That's where I got it from, and I've had it for at least 10 years. And all my travels and everywhere I've gone, I've never lost this thing. That's how much it means to me. So thank you for noticing it, and Darren has his on as well. And I will say this, maybe an hour or two, if you can remind me, we'll go through pretenders and contenders, because I'm not sold on any of what I'm seeing right now. I'm not totally sold that the Oilers are as crappy as they say and that their coach should be fired, although in the press box last night here at Sunrise, a lot of people felt that he should. But whatever, I'm just taking it all in, not making any opinions yet. I'm not sold that the Canucks are going to win their first ever Stanley Cup, or that the Leafs are whatever they are. I don't even know what they are. They're still trying to figure each other out. So you know, in the thumbnail that we posted for social media, you put pretenders or contenders. I would like to go through a lot of the NHL top teams, and well, like the Jets. People are writing in. They're at St. Louis tonight. Pretender, contender. They're in a playoff spot right now. They're playing pretty good. And we said going into the year that if they got the culture problems fixed, they would be a contender. And that appears to be what's going on. So that's a lot of time spent on Monday leftovers from the National Hockey League, but it makes me very happy to do it. 902-518-3033. Kevin from Kelowna writes in on the Sober Carpenter text line. This is from yesterday, and he just said, I'm a Bruins fan. But being a hockey fan living in BC, I'm interested in the Canucks-Oilers game, and also what Edmonton's record will be in their next 3 games. House cleaning if they don't win 2 of 3. That's what Gregor said here yesterday. Jason Gregor of Sports 1440 Edmonton. He's like, if they only beat San Jose on this trip, which it's looking like that might be the only thing, he's like, I could see a coaching change. To Monday Night Football, Darius Davis returned a punt, 87 yards for a touchdown. Austin Eckler ran for 2 majors, and Joey Bosa and LA's defense stifled Zach Wilson and the New York Jets' bumbling offense in the Chargers' 27-6 NFL victory on Monday. Justin Herbert was 16 of 30 for just 136 yards, but became the fastest player in NFL history to 1,500 completions. as the Chargers snap the Jets' 3-game win streak. Maybe you can help me, Darren, with I don't understand what I should do. And I talked to our COO this morning, Joe Gunnis, about them. Like, how should I think? How should I feel? Because you hear fastest player ever to 1,500 completions. That is nothing to sneeze at, Justin Herbert. And right now I see the pundits saying the Chargers should be better than they are. And if they don't win this game at the Jets, Brandon Staley, their head coach, is going to be fired. But then they did win, and they actually kicked the Jets' ass. So are they a good team with this marquee quarterback, or are they not? I don't understand. And I'm listening to NHL radio, and it's the heavyweights. I'm not going to say who, but if anybody listened to it, they'll know who I'm talking about because they heard it too. If Jay Woodcroft loses in Vancouver, he'll be fired with the Oilers. Well, he lost and he wasn't fired, so why am I listening to you? And then I heard another pundit brought in that they said, what would you do if you were running the Edmonton Oilers right now? The guy goes, well, that's a good question. If somebody says that's a good question, two things. Number one, they don't know the answer. And number two, they're stalling for more time until they can think of the answer. And I'm kind of sitting here with a lot of the pundits, NFL, NHL, you name it, going, why am I watching this? I'm not getting anything out of this. And an example was last night's game notes. One of the Panthers defensemen, I can't even remember who, this is how little I put stock into it. He's the third fastest Panther defenseman to 50 assists in franchise history. What? It just seems like everybody's in a race, Darren, to come up with the most obscure facts that nobody cares about. Or do you care about it? I don't know. Maybe you do.
No. And stop giving away my trade secrets on the air. You know, when you ask me something and I need to stall for more time. Rod, that's a great question.
Bingo!
All I need is
I already knew. I didn't want to. I didn't want to throw you under the bus. But that's a Darren Dupe. You should trademark that.
We've worked together long enough, and all my little tricks, and you can tell when I'm doing it. I can tell when you're doing little things, but I don't think the audience can, and that's kind of the point. But anyways, where were we? The meaningless stats. Yeah, I know. I still think when we're talking about games and broadcast games and coming up with this stuff, you still need to try and relate it to the lowest common denominator. We try and get so crazy and fancy and, talk to the uber nerds, which is great. And I'm a, hockey and football nerd as anybody, but you need to talk to, you want a mass audience. So you need to talk to the lowest common denominator, dumb it down a little bit.
Absolutely. I'm reading this. Why do I need to know this? I feel like I'm dumber, actually. And hey, okay, pause. We have our poll question coming up next, and I think it's a real good one. And it relates to football. We've got some NFL talk, CFL news. The point spreads are out from our exclusive betting partner, Bet Regal, for this Saturday's division finals in the CFL. On the way, Julio Caravata and Matthew Barnaby will be right back on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey folks, Manscaped has done it again. They are introducing the Handyman 2.0. It's a facial razor about the size of your iPhone, and it charges by USB. I'm telling you, it fits in your shaving kit. Just lickety-split for those road trips, because two heads are better than one. The lawnmower is for your junk, the Handyman's for your face, and the Weed Whacker is for your nose and ears. How about that? My bathroom vanity looks like a friggin' garden shed, thanks to our good friends at Manscaped. And you can get 20% off and free shipping on all these items at manscaped.com right now with the promo code TheRPShow. The promo code is all one word, TheRPShow. Go to manscaped.com and do yourself a favor, okay? Guys, it matters. Let's bring in the Moose now. Where was I? I started thinking about bodily hair and completely lost my train of thought.
The tool shed, that does it for me. Your vanity looks like a tool shed. Yeah, I get the picture now. They're all hung on hooks, cords everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I got a friend texting me here, Jeff, the hotelier. He's like, some heavyweight tilts in the NHL tonight. I'm like, yes, there are, but we're not ready to go there yet. That sounds to me an awful lot like an hour 2 thing. And we'll get there. But hour 1 is for putting to bed what went down last night in all leagues. And I said our poll question would be addressed here coming out of the break. And it is this. Are you a fan of the Manning cast? And our daily poll question is brought to you by Key Auto Group. At the Key Auto Group, you can buy with confidence, knowing that they provide reports on all vehicles they sell. Get fully informed about your next vehicle by going to keyautogroup.ca. I got to go and check out right now. What are they saying on YouTube, Clark? A yes or a no? If you don't mind. 58% say no. So, again, the question, are you a fan of the Manning cast? Free Key Auto Group, 55% of you saying yes, 19% saying no, and 26% saying the what? I didn't give Clark that option to put in. One guy writing in says, I think you have to own cable television to like it. I don't know. What that is Peyton and Eli Manning, they sit remotely in each other's living rooms, video conference, similar to what Darren and I are doing now, and they talk during the game while it's going on, and sometimes they bring in a special interview guest. Like last week, I think that Aaron Rodgers, maybe 2 weeks ago, I don't know. And I don't know. I said to Darren, obviously, my vote is no. I'll get that out of the way right now. No, I'm not a fan of it. But I don't want to speak for you. I'm assuming you're voting no because you said you didn't even know if it airs in Canada or not.
I'm going to vote yes. I am a fan of it, but
okay.
But I don't watch it. But I don't watch it anymore. Does that make sense? Like, I'm not a big enough fan that I would sit and watch it over Monday Night Football. But I have watched it, and I do enjoy it. I think it's good. It's just not something I think about watching every week. Does that make sense? When I watch it, I enjoy it.
Yes.
Watch the game.
You've totally redeemed yourself, Lloyd, by saying that. But I started to watch it a couple weeks ago, and then I saw that it was on last night, and I flipped right by it because say it again. Peyton is in the top window, Eli's in the bottom window, and there's usually a guy in the middle, whoever they're interviewing, and they're talking about the game. I can't. And listen, it's a me thing. It's not their fault. Believe me, it's not their fault. They're Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. They're great guys. But I'm watching the game to watch the game. I'm no coach, but I don't need the distraction. All it is to me is a distraction. Get the hell out of here. How many times have I said I don't even have the sound up for the play-by-play on a normal broadcast, let alone these two guys yammering in my ear? But that's just me. For years, and Abu is a good example of a guy. Mike Abu-Meshrik, a lot of our audience knows him, 10 years in the Canadian Football League. He often said we should get together and, throw a party and invite people, have a contest for them to come watch the game with us. And I'm like, you arrogant bastard. You actually think people would want to watch a game with you and have a contest to do it? But I can't wait to get away from you. But again, that's just me. I feel like John Q. Public really, and I was thinking about this driving home. I don't think corner gas is funny because that's the way I was raised. I don't think spitting chiclets is funny because that also was the way that I was raised. Serena's dad doesn't get the deal with Duck Dynasty because that's him. Do you know what I mean? So to sit and watch with players, why would I want to do that? But I'm in the 0.0001% of people, I think, Darren. Everybody else apparently likes it.
I know. And then when I watch a game, I'm just like ensconced in the game. I want to watch the game, And not that I can't handle some conversation here and there, and I think that's fun. But I want to watch the game. I think when I'm sitting on Sunday and the Titans aren't playing and I'm watching like NFL Red Zone, there's 10 games, bing, 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 and I'm kind of half in, half out. Yeah, okay, let's have a little party, get together and do that. But Monday Night Football, I'm sitting down and, I'm into the game. They have my attention like a movie.
Right, and I talked yesterday about, something's dawned in me, and you can say snapped if you want, over the last 2 weeks, whereby I just realized you need to let it go and move on and accept what is. And one of those things is I don't understand how I've had ADD since I was a child and OCD, yet when I want to lock in on something, I'm locked right in. It makes no sense at all. Like if I'm broadcasting a game, nothing. A bomb could go off right beside me and I would not even notice because I'm so locked in on what I'm doing. And I don't want to hear Eli and Peyton Manning yammering about the game is the point. Glenn writes in on the text line 902-518-3033. Glenn with 2 N's. He says, hey, are you going to be at Grey Cup next week, Rod? The answer is no. I will not be at Grey Cup next week. I have commitments in the United States of America. And that's not changing. So if you're going to the Grey Cup, have fun for me, but I quite obviously will be watching. I think we should probably plan an RP show Grey Cup watch party somewhere down here. Bomber Boy, regarding analytics that he can keep to himself if he wants. He writes in and says, Winnipeg Jets are top 10 in 5-on-5, but are bottom 10 in special teams. But we could be worse. We could be the Oilers right now.
How about that?
He also says, let's be honest, the NFL is 10% action, 90% non-action. So hearing the Manning's insight during the lulls is sometimes interesting. Again, minority here. I was the guy told to shut up by my dad while the game was on and was not offended by it. But again, I was raised differently than everybody else. We are a product of our environments. Let's go on to the Canadian Football League. Just for spits and giggles, for the division finals this weekend, I have the betting lines here. I'm not getting the point spreads. I'm not going to ask you if you'll take them or not, but I kind of want to know what you would. I'm guessing you have not looked them up at Bet Regal. I took the liberty of doing so. The Alouettes of Montreal at the Toronto Argonauts. And I think it will be sold out at BMO. I understand that tickets are moving well on for Saturday's game. What do you think the point spread is? I'm quite surprised at the point spread. I'll just say that. What do you think it is?
Oh, it's surprising. Argos by 6.5.
The 16-2 Toronto Argonauts are favored by 9.5 points at home over the Montreal Alouettes. Yeah, Cody will find a way to use that as motivation, the quarterback of the Alouettes. And clearly, sorry, Pinner, Montreal's my team going into the Grey Cup. Montreal to Toronto, Argos favored by 9.5. Again, we'll play deal or no deal later on in the week. And BC and Winnipeg in the West Final, what do you think is the point spread there?
I think Winnipeg's favored by 2.5, maybe 3.5.
4.5.
Okay.
So they are bringing, they're passing the brandy around the table there at the Bet Regal point spread. Their inhibitions are down. They're very generous there. Winnipeg favored by 4.5 at home over the BC Lions. And by the way, Julio Caravetta, their longtime color guy, coming up next. And Montreal to Toronto. Greg with 2 G's writes that he says it's CFL playoff football. Games are usually close. Yes and no. That's not a whole lot different than the regular season. What were they last week? 27-12 in the East semifinal and 41-30 in the West semifinal. That's double-digit margins in both games.
Yeah.
From Reg Dunlop, he says, will there be an RP cast for the Grey Cup? Well, my immediate inclination is no. But maybe that's the time that we do the first one. I don't know. What would we do?
The one thing about the RP cast instead of a Manning cast, we couldn't have the game in the window, right? We can't have the game in there. So it would just be us. Just be us. You'd have to bring the game up on your TV, which would be okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I see a lot of guys and gals are doing it in football, and some are doing it for hockey. I was going to say Serena's in the sales game, and she often says, if it's not hell yes, then it's a hell no. And I'm not saying hell yes that we'll do an RP cast for the Grey Cup. Let me think about it for a few days. We got 10, 11 days. Jason in Red Deer says, RP Grey Cup watch party contest. Winner gets to watch you guys watch the Grey Cup. LOL. Yeah, it sounds like a very boo thing.
That's hot.
Troy in Toronto writes that he says, I was hoping Hamilton would be the team I got to see play the Argos on Saturday. Having the fans come down the QEW is always a blast and a great time. I guess we'll just have to kick Montreal's ass. Ooh, that's some fighting words from Troy in Toronto. Man, this is a John Huffnagel. Boys, we got them right where we want them. The 16-2 Toronto Argonauts. I'm looking at it from a Montreal perspective. There ain't nobody other than Cody's mom who thinks they're going to go in there and win on Saturday, right? Clearly.
No, nobody does. And that's, you know what? They're playing with house money. And that's a good mentality to have. Look, I'll relate it to my game from Saturday. It was Manitoba coming into UBC in a Canada West University semifinal. Nobody gave Manitoba a chance. They got blown out 52-10 in the regular season by UBC. And Brian Dobie, the veteran coach, all week said, we're playing with house money. We had the miracle play to get into the playoffs. We're not supposed to be here. House money. And all they did was took it to UBC. They had a 14-point lead in the first half. They led by 7 at halftime. Like, they were in really great shape. Now, they lost, okay? But this is what Montreal needs to do going into Toronto. They're playing with house money. They've got nothing to lose. Nobody's given them a chance. They could go in and shock the Argos with that mindset.
David in Winnipeg says, I feel you, Rod. I'm in the same boat. I have ADD and yet can focus on something like a football game or a video game. No issues. Yeah, figure that one out. I don't get it right. Just a quick one, because we are talking CFL in this segment on the Saskatchewan Roughriders. I got a call last night as I was driving home from the Panthers game that Scott Milanovich is on his way to meet with the Saskatchewan Roughriders in person. This gentleman that told me that isn't saying it, but I feel like I am saying it would appear to be Scott Milanovich's job if he wants it. Who knows what the Roughriders are thinking? They've made a lot of mistakes, this regime. A lot. That's why they're in the position that they're in. But the narrative seems to be that it'll be Scott Milanovich, and they're meeting today, so because his season's now over from Hamilton, maybe he'll be the guy. Moose, I'll see you here in hour 2.
You bet. See you then.
CFL fans, perk up. Julio Caravana joins us next. We're live on the Game Plus television network, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the City of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at IKSGameDay.com.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
You know, we've had more reaction to our poll question than I thought for Key Auto Group. It is, are you a fan of the Manning cast? And while I said no, Michael Wynn is watching in Winnipeg from Ice Time Sports, the sporting goods store. He has us on every day on Game Plus TV. And he says, boys, that game was awful last night. The only thing good about it was the Manning cast. And Mike is watching in Hawaii, and he writes in on the Sober Carpenter text line. He says, I'm sure the Manning cast is available in Canada. It's entertaining, but I'd prefer to watch the game. It's they're fun in very small doses. The novelty wore off very quickly. But I could watch a game with our next guest anytime. Julio Caravata joins us from the BC Lions radio crew. How you doing, buddy? What's up, Jules?
I'm good, Roddy. How are you?
Good. Congratulations on 25 years, by the way. I did 20 in the CFL, and it seems very minuscule and paltry compared to yourself, the Halseys of the world, the JPs. Way to go, man. I saw the video. How's it feel?
Well, it makes you feel old, that's for sure. But yeah, it just feels like it was yesterday that I was doing my first game with JP. So it's been quite a run, some ups, some downs, but overall, I wouldn't trade it for anything. You know, getting involved after I played in the game was a saving grace. You know, allowed me to stay in touch with the game that I love. And although, like I said, there's been a lot of highs and lows, overall, I wouldn't trade it for anything. And most importantly, I think when I look back, it does, you know, make you think back. And I know it sounds kind of corny, but I think overall, the thing that I really cherish the most is the friendships, right? The people that you've come across all along the way that, you know, continue to be friends and, you know, like yourself, right across the league, that whenever we get together, we always have a common bond of football or Canadian football. And that's something that I cherish.
Well, I will tell our audience, if they don't know, that Julio is one of the best guys in all of the Canadian Football League. He's one of the guys that makes the league great. No, it's true. And I'm very grateful because I wouldn't have met you otherwise.
Yeah.
So I'm just grateful for that. Now, I didn't watch as much of the West Final as I did the East. I'm out here on the East Coast, as you know, but it was a good kickoff time. And I got to ask, are the good times back at BC Place? Because it sure looks like
Oh, you mean as far as the fan experience? Yeah, I would say so.
Everything.
You can't say enough about what Amar Dolman's done since he's bought the team. You know, the vibe outside the stadium was fantastic. You know, he had mimosas and margaritas and pancakes and all sorts of, you know, bands and all that kind of stuff happening outside the stadium, which was a great prelim to the game. And then to get almost 31,000 people in there, I was an electric crowd, and really ultimately, when you combine that with the product, that's when people walk away happy. And you know, most of the people that I've come across were, you know, who went to the game were really, really impressed with the overall product, and from start to finish. And I think most importantly too is that it's affordable. You know, the bottom line. Amar has made that very clear that he wants to make it affordable for families, for young families to come to the game and enjoy themselves, and he's done that. And so overall, Roddy, I just can't. You know, I mean, they're on the right track. That's for sure. They ultimately, how this thing, you know, and you know better than anybody, when you have a good product on the field, it builds that momentum. People want to be there. They want to cheer on the home team, and then when they go to the games, and they're not only entertained by the product on the field, but they also have a good time, you know, before the game, and they don't feel like they've been, you know, absolutely hijacked out of their wallet. Then you're going to get those people back, and that's what they've been able to do.
Good people. And Amar supported us. I support them. I love it all. It's very warm and fuzzy. But you'd love to go win a Grey Cup. I got to ask you, like, VA is also, I'm a fan of him. How much motivation was it for him to take this team at least as far or further than Nathan Rourke did? I'm sure they got along, but the questions abounded going into the season. Can he do it? And he's done it.
Yeah. Well, you know, in fairness to VA, and overall, it is one thing that I haven't heard much of. Right? You don't hear a lot of people talk about Nathan Rourke. I know Nathan, and deservingly so. During the preseason, all eyes were on him. Everybody wanted to see him be successful. But had the season turned out, I think, a little bit different, Rod, that they would have struggled, then you would have heard, you know, I think you would have heard the cry for that a little bit more. But I think VA's had an outstanding year. I think that he is a guy that is deserving of everything that comes his way. He is sure there have been some ups and downs, but overall he put together a fantastic year. And what he did in the Western semifinal was brilliance. It really was. I think it exemplified his skill set and what he's able to bring to the table, his ability to throw the ball, and also to make things happen when a play breaks down with his feet. When he's playing at that level, he's a very dangerous guy to defend. Just plain and simple. You mean it's a big field defensively when they go when you have to go sideline to sideline here. You get a guy outside the pocket, he can create a lot of problems for you. So it's one of those situations that if he can play the way that he played on Saturday in Winnipeg on Saturday, he's going to make things very interesting.
So, yeah, man, you're good at this. You should be in broadcasting, Julio. It rolls us into the division final talk. What's your breakdown of the big match at IG Field?
Well, you know what, Rod? It always comes down, I think, in games like this, and pretty much every game, really, there's a couple of big things. You know, you got to control the line of scrimmage, right? You got to be able to, in Winnipeg's case, you know, if they're looking at that game film, they're saying, hey, we've got to be able to contain Vernon Adams. If you're the BC Lions, you're saying to yourself, we've got to contain that running game, and we've got to be able to stop them on first down, and we've, you know, got to put the hands then or the ball in Zach Caleros' hands, which is also a formidable task. So you got to do that. Secondly, can't make mistakes, right? You can't turn the ball over. You can't give teams like Winnipeg second chances. You can't put yourself in negative situations. So you can't be 2nd and 20 because you're taking a holding penalty. You can't take a special teams penalty when you get the ball out at the 45 and it brings you all back to the 10. You know what I mean? Like, those kinds of mistakes in those kinds of games are just magnified. And you just can't give teams like Winnipeg second chances. They have proven all year long that if you turn the ball over against them, they're going to make you pay for it. And that's something that the Lions need to stay away from. So if both these teams play clean and play to what they're capable of, we're going to have a great game. I mean, there's just no question about it. They've both taken their shots. You know, the first game the Lions won. Second game the Blue Bombers blew them out. Third game in BC Place went to overtime. So these two teams, when they match up and come to play, they're going to go toe to toe with each other. But the question's going to be who flinches and who makes the biggest mistakes.
Oh, you guys have had some real slobber knockers this year. I've been following very closely, so it all matters what goes down on Saturday. Julio, you are a champion player and a champion broadcaster, but most importantly, champion man. Thank you for the time. Keep in touch, my friend. Appreciate you.
Appreciate
Have fun.
it.
Good luck.
Thanks, buddy. Cheers.
Color commentator of the BC Lions, Julio Caravetta. We'll be right back with Audience Takeover. This is where we'll get out all of your questions, okay? Because we haven't talked about the rider coaching search yet. Fans of all those CFL teams, get it in now. And a sporting update coming up next, too. We're live on Game Plus Television, which is available all across BC on TELUS, Channel 924, TELUS Optic TV. Shaw Cable, Channel 230, Julio. If you're still watching, Shaw Rogers, Channel 230. Pay for it. Don't be so cheap. WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. It's audience takeover time and a sports update, too, if we get time. I'm just as pleased as punch to have you here with us today, the Rod Squad Daily Get-Together. Thank you for making us part of your day. We're the view for sports fans. If you're just tuning into us, that's what we do here. Wayne in Victoria, British Columbia writes, he says, by the way, Rod, I tried to buy Sober Carpenter beer in Victoria and was told they don't have it. I'm a bit disappointed. I see John Ohm rallied to the cause and sent a link which has all Victoria beer, wine, and spirits vendors that do carry SoberCarpenter.com. Thanks for helping him out very much, John Ohm. Vancouver Electric Football Network. That's the account watching streaming right now. Says Winnipeg weather on Saturday looks to be mainly sunny and just above freezing for kickoff. Hey, it's Jeff Cabillas checking in from Winnipeg. Hi, Jeff. He says, hey, long time no see. Glad to see the RP show going strong. Oh, yeah, and getting stronger. Hey, the CFL fans have come to play here. This is a good time to do it because next hour we're going to get heavy into tonight's NHL games. Jason in Red Deer writes in, he says, hey, Rod, curious what you think may happen with Bo Levi Mitchell. We addressed it yesterday, and actually, if you go to our Twitter account, the clip is on the Rod Pedersen Show Twitter account if you want to see at length. Bo's changed his tune from what he said right after the game. Apparently, they met with the media on Monday there. Apparently, he's open to coming back to the Ticats next year. Orlando Steinauer has said they're open to bringing him back, and it looks like at the same wage. If you're Bo, why would you walk away from that kind of money, $500,000? I wouldn't. So what do I think? I think he'll be back. Because that's what I read. And these guys would never lie, right? To a sports update before we jump back into the comments section. Trevor Wong of the Saskatoon Blades has been named Tempo WHL Player of the Week. Wong, who serves as captain of the Blades and is from Vancouver, BC, 5'9", 158. He's built like a toothbrush. He recorded 9 points and was a +8 in 3 games as the Blades went 3-0. Meanwhile, Prince George Cougars rookie netminder Joshua Ravensbergen has been named WHL Goalie of the Week. He is the first back-to-back winner and first repeat winner of WHL Goalie of the Week honors this season. In the National Hockey League tonight, the Montreal Canadiens look to halt a 3-game losing skid as they host the Tampa Bay Lightning. Habs coming off a 6-3 loss in St. Louis. Tampa Bay dropped the 6-5 overtime decision to the Leafs last night, a game in which they were up 4-1 in the first. The Calgary Flames face off against the Nashville Predators at the Saddledome tonight. That's my game of the night. Flames snapped a 6-game losing streak on Saturday with a 6-3 win over the Seattle Kraken. Preds have won 2 in a row. Also tonight, the Winnipeg Jets visit St. Louis. That might be game of the night territory there, too. We did talk about it a little bit this hour. Our sports updates brought to you by Common Crown Brewing Company, turning your everyday Common Crown beer, your everyday common beer into a unique and exceptional experience. Check them out at commoncrown.ca. And for Landmark Cinemas, in theaters now, 5 Nights at Freddy's. Can you survive 5 nights? The terrifying horror game phenomenon becomes a blood-chilling cinematic event as producer Blumhouse brings 5 Nights at Freddy's to the big screen. Where are you at, guys? What are we at with time? Hello? Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Next hour, Matthew Barnaby, and we will take a look at tonight's NHL games. More on the Manning cast and the poll question for Key Auto Group. Are you a fan of it? Seems to be like a 50-50 proposition there. So we'll be right back with Hour 2 after this brief pause on Game Plus and WQEE Radio.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at IKSGameDay.com.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. BDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at iksgameday.com.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
The Edmonton Oilers last year were the highest scoring team in the NHL. They are the 5th highest scoring team 5-on-5. They're 23rd in both categories this year. So your best guys, your big gunners, Nugent Hopkins, McDavid, and Draisaitl have no goals combined in the last 6 games. The Oilers defensively, they're just Santa Claus through the neutral zone. They're giving up chance after chance off the rush. It's awful. I think this is a collective fail by everybody involved, and they all got to do better.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve
Check 1 2. Hello.
experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
The Edmonton Oilers last year were the highest scoring team in the NHL. They are the 5th highest scoring team 5-on-5. They're 23rd in both categories this year. So your best guys, your big gunners, Nugent Hopkins, McDavid, and Draisaitl have no goals combined in the last 6 games. The Oilers defensively, they're just Santa Claus through the neutral zone. They're giving up chance after chance off the rush. It's awful. I think this is a collective fail by everybody involved, and they all got to do better.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey, let's try this again. Am I doing it right? It's hour 2 of the RP Show on a Tuesday, episode number 1115 of your favorite daytime sports talk show. And as promised, we've got a lot of messages to get to from our audience. Oh, man. Other than the technical glitches, the show's going exactly the way that I'd hoped. I can't always say that. I'm in beautiful, sunny South Florida. The Moose is, I think, do we have Moose? Is he with us in Vancouver? Hey, Moose.
Gotcha.
Hey, Moose. Thanks for sticking around. Before we jump headlong into hour 2, which is going to be a lot of what's going on tonight in the world of sports, because as my guy Jeff, the hotelier, has texted in, he says, some heavyweight bouts in the NHL tonight. I want to preview those. If you can believe it or not, I have a college football note that I think everybody is going to find interesting that I want to throw in there. But yeah, what were your takeaways from hour 1? What did you learn? What did we learn?
Yeah, I learned a lot. I mean, going back I guess we didn't learn anything about the Edmonton Oilers last night, but good to look back at that. But what we learned is that the NHL is as entertaining as ever because all these games, none of them are ever in doubt. They're never over. You can never turn it off. And so it's great that the league that we're covering more than ever is as good as it's ever been.
Yeah, I'm actually really happy that you brought that up. My mind just went somewhere. And I hope, as a matter of fact, I don't need to hope it. I know this is fact. All the people in the Rod Squad that tune in here every day, whether it be podcast, radio, television, you name it, YouTube, we're all part of one big family. And there was a guy from Winnipeg that wrote in last week. He said, your scars are showing. Because I was ranting over something, and it was like, yeah, my scars are showing. Heavily scarred guy here. We all have them. You live long enough, you're going to have some. And I was like, yeah, maybe I should probably get over that. And I appreciate that he brought that up, actually. And I show my scars to, quite frankly, tell everybody that it is possible to change and recover and all the rest. Reason I bring this up. And I'm going to ask you, I do have a point. If you were scouting the game last night, and not like you need to hand your notes in to the teacher or, the general manager, but I have mentioned the team before. I don't feel like doing it now, but I had a team bring me in. They were interviewing me, NHL team, for a couple of games. I spent the weekend there in the town, and I just will never forget after the first game, the next day I was with one of the owners, and I was like, I scouted the game for you. And the look he gave at me was like, I didn't ask you to do that. I had pages and pages of copious notes that I'd learned how to do that from my dad, 26 years of the National Hockey League. He couldn't have cared less. You know, and by the way, a guy wrote in here from Arizona about the CFL and the Riders not being the playoffs and so forth. But it reminded me of a camp in Florida where I was charting every pass, doing analytics. And I realized, why the hell was I doing that? Doesn't matter. If you're just going to end up doing a show somewhere else that has nothing to do with it, why did I try so hard?
Yeah.
I don't know. And the point being, how much did you pay attention? It seemed like you were paying attention quite a bit to the Oilers game in their 6-2 loss at Vancouver last night.
Yeah, I was paying pretty close attention to most of that game. Very few instances where I would be distracted. But yeah, I watched it. I didn't write copious amounts of notes, but I could have. Yeah, you learn a lot watching the game last night for sure.
But are we ever learning a ton of things here? Because Rick Tocchet has taken over the same team that Bruce Boudreau had, and largely the same team, minus Bo Horvat, that Travis Green had. And voila, what's changed? Demko's playing. They're not giving up at the first sight of adversity, which I've seen them do multiple times the past couple of years. What's changed? The coach. So maybe Edmonton's onto something that maybe Jay Woodcroft at one time knew what he was doing or had the room, but now they've tuned him out. I don't really know. But you see that we're on to Demko started playing. And this morning, Gord Stellick said something that I've been saying for ages. He said it a little differently on the morning skate or whatever the show is that he does. But he goes, Stuart Skinner was in the All-Star game last year. What did I say? He was a Calder finalist last year. And last night he couldn't stop a beach ball. So, when I'm doing one-on-one coaching mental health, it's like, where were you at the top of your game? Where were you at the top of your life? Remember that point, and then what was going on around you at that time? You know, that's part of how you get out of this stuff. But nobody asks. I want to bring this in. Bob McCulloch writes in from Mesa, Arizona. He writes in on the Sober Carpenter text line, 902-518-3033. Hey, it's 1:11 Eastern, Darren. 11:11 Mountain, 10:11 Pacific, where you're at. I don't think we'll fart around with the sound effects given the issues that we've had today. Then clearly we're not, but Bob writes in, he says, Morden, Manitoba resident here, in Mesa for the winter. As much as I dislike the Riders as a big Bomber fan, the CFL is a much better league when the Riders are really relevant. And I'm not going to let my scars show here. But the Riders aren't in the playoffs for a second straight year. They hosted the Grey Cup last year and weren't even in the playoffs. They're not relevant because they don't deserve to be relevant. So do you want me to sit here for 2 hours and talk about who might be their next head coach? Darren, stop me if you have to. But I'm like, they're not in the playoffs. This is their own doing. They keep lighting people on fire and sending them out of town, but the problems continue. They're going to be just as crappy next year. And I'm the guy that was keeping the discussion going all off season, but with the guy that's running the team right now has ruined the organization. He's destroyed the brand. And there's a reason I'm bringing this up. Believe it or not, more in depth than I normally do. The guy that would call the radio station boss, and then I would get called on the carpet for talking about the team in the offseason because they deserved a break. The guy's still running the team. So why would I give him the relevancy now? They don't want it. They don't deserve it. And I look at Sean Simpson over in Ottawa. Are you following Simmer's Twitter feed? Sean Simpson, torched by TSN Radio Ottawa, has started his own show, launched it yesterday. It's going great guns. Please tell me you're looking at his Twitter, Darren. Please tell me.
I'm looking at it, and you put me on to this even more. Yeah, I'm there.
He's just got a flamethrower and gasoline. He's got a jerry can of gasoline, and he's just dumping it on the Ottawa Senators. Till it's empty. And then taking the flame. And I think he used to work for the Senator. I think for the Senators. But I know he worked for TSN Radio Ottawa. He was drafted by the Washington Capitals. He knows his hockey. And he's just got the Senators all guns a-blazing. And I was like, because I've really largely bitten my tongue, believe it or not. And it's been 5 years since I was the voice of the Rough Riders, moved on. But back to Bob's thing, it's a better team, better league when they're relevant. But they're not, and that's their own fault. Like Simmer's gone after the coach, DJ Smith, and said how DJ Smith called the radio station to complain about something Sean said. Meanwhile, he's a crappy coach. According to Simmer, like, I don't know. And the funny thing is, people are writing in to Sean Simpson in Ottawa saying, how come you didn't say this when you were on TSN Ottawa? How come you... Are you that obtuse that you can't figure out when you are on the radio broadcast rights holder of the local pro team that you can't say what you think? Darren, please tell me. They're not that obtuse.
I know. And when you need to have things like, applications for credentials and access and interviews, and you're the rights holder and you have to have these relationships, you have to walk a fine line. I assumed everybody understood that. But now that he's on his own, the gloves are off.
Oh, he's just giving her. And I'm sitting there going, this could end one of two ways. Could be the most popular show in Ottawa broadcast history. And quite frankly, I've perked up. I want to know what he says next because I respect him and I trust. I've known Sean. Well, we met in 2017 at the Grey Cup. He was at TD Place doing his radio show as a hockey guy, and we just clicked right away. And you click with your people, I click with my people. And then when I saw he got torched, I heard he was having a real tough time, and I was wishing him well. And now I see what he's doing, and I'm just like, you go, man, because it's a different world out there. And having said all that, we're not going to make teams look bad if they don't deserve it. Serena and I do this Panthers and Lightning podcast, and they treat us great. And they're two great teams, and it's all great. If they weren't great, it might be a different story. I'm not sure. Just to wind it up on the CFL notes, because there are people writing in that want to talk about it. It's not like it's a small thing who their head coach is going to be. All I'm saying is the rest of the country would rather talk hockey. Our analytics show it. But where else can they go to get it? Nowhere. So Wilf in Steinbach, Manitoba writes in, and he says, hi, Rod and Moose. Scott Milanovich, good choice. And he can cover the offensive coordinator spot. He's talking about Sask, of course. He says, we need a good defensive coordinator. Would have preferred Buck Pierce as the head coach. He's the offensive coordinator in Winnipeg, and we all love Buck. And Brian in Hudson Bay. You'll remember this, Darren, because the Moose capital. Brian Eitenauer, he writes in and says, I'm hearing it is Scott Milanovich's job if he wants it. If it is, I sure hope he has some say in personnel because Jeremy O'Day has proven over the years he sure isn't capable of doing it. He'd better have a good staff as well. I don't know if it's Scott Milanovich's job or not. He's meeting with the Rough Riders today, and there is your daily talk about it. When we come back, NHL Tonight. And Matthew Barnaby later on here in hour 2. We're live on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Text 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
2 million liters of power creates electricity. Electricity creates.
View Casino. Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Well, this is interesting. Welcome back to the RP show. Interesting because I just checked our Instagram poll at the Rod Pedersen Show, and it was, what is your game of the night in the National Hockey League? And believe it or not, what's leading is Detroit at the New York Rangers. Let's bring in the Moose, Darren Moose DuPont. He's in Vancouver, and I'm here, and I'm ready to have a good hockey discussion. I really am. So everybody gather around the fire. 902-518-3033 is the Sober Carpenter text line. Sober Carpenter, ask for it at your favorite beer, wine, and spirit store. Like Wayne in Victoria, BC did. He went into his favorite beer store and they didn't have it. Well, you'll get directed to those that do. And trust me, your life will change. Couple things I want to say, Darren, before I turn it over to you. Here are the games. There are 10 tonight in the National Hockey League. And maybe yours isn't the most, maybe your most interested one isn't Detroit at the Rangers, because mine isn't. Buffalo at Carolina. Tampa Bay at Montreal. Martin St. Louis faces his former team. Minnesota at the New York Islanders. Detroit at the Rangers, as we mentioned. That might be the best game. Two very good teams there. Winnipeg Jets at St. Louis Blues. Seattle Kraken at Arizona. Nashville at Calgary. That, quite frankly, is the game that I'm looking forward to the most. New Jersey Devils at Colorado. Pittsburgh at Anaheim. And Philadelphia at San Jose. This is kind of the spot in the show where I thought we could go through some of these teams and ask whether they're contenders or pretenders or what the hell they are. Like the Ducks, 7-4-1 sound right? 7-5-1, the Ducks, whatever it is. 5 of their 7 wins. 7-4-0. 5 of their 7 wins have been comeback wins, and I'm like, have they finally arrived? Because you'd like to think these teams don't stay awful forever. You saw all that good young talent that Anaheim had coming up. We're friends with their scouting staff. You knew they weren't going to be awful forever. I do just want to say this. I didn't work in the NHL forever. My dad did. So it's really nice for me now to roam around and be in these press boxes and media rooms and be with the guys that I've been watching my whole life. Some are friends, came up through junior. Some are my dad's buddies, and some are guys that I just admire from afar. And I don't ever really get tired of it. And I don't think I ever want to get tired of it. What I mean is, do you remember in the 90s watching John Davidson on Hockey Night in Canada? He was the Rangers television color guy, and then the satellite hot stove, John Davidson. So you remember who he is. Calgary guy. We got a lot of viewers in Calgary. He was a goaltender for the Rangers, and then broadcaster, then president. And now he's running the Blue Jackets. And the reason I bring this up is I think about last night. I'm sitting at the game right beside Bill Lindsay's dad, who, quite frankly, I was a fan of Bill Lindsay my whole life. Never thought I'd end up staying at his house in the Keys. Like, awesome how life goes. And I'm looking at John Davidson just watching him. Would never think of going to talk to him. I'd probably be tasered. Jacques Martin, I don't even know who he's working for anymore. I don't know. But he was in the press box. Jacques Martin. Yes, that is Jacques Martin, former coach of the Senators. Dennis Potvin, you probably saw it on my Instagram or Facebook story. Our show, Cats and Bolts. All one word, Cats and Bolts. I just love it. I love it. I love it. And I don't think I should ever lose that. Would you?
Of course not. No, it's that's the best, right? I mean, we're so quick to turn this sports into a job or into this, make it more than it is. At the end of the day, it's a game. It's fun. We're supposed to be in love with it. You're supposed to dream about it. They're supposed to be heroes and stars. They're not supposed to be real people. I mean, you know what I mean? We know that they are, but sometimes it's okay that they can be make-believe characters and larger than life. And, that's what makes it great. That's what sports is so awesome. And I think we lose sight of that, especially with social media. We start, trying to treat them like everybody else, and we forget, to just dream a little bit.
Well, if you ever read Al Michaels' book, and I think it's called I'd Love To, But I Have a Game. I think that's the name of Al Michaels. Or maybe that was Costas' book. I can't remember. I've read them all. But Al Michaels, that was Costas's. He had to turn down every opportunity in life that he had because he had a game. He said, I'd love to, but I have a game. Well, I'm not going to Google it now and go to the big board. Just trust me when I say, in Al Michaels' book, he said, he goes, advice to any young broadcaster. You can just hear him saying it, Al Michaels. Don't ever lose your zest. Right? You got into this for the love of the game and the love of the people. Don't ever lose that. And to be honest, I did lose it for a while, and I have it back now. And this is what people wouldn't know because they don't need to know, and I don't let them know. But I got a lot of opportunities. They're like, come on in, Rod. Come on. And I'm like, nope. I'm good right here. I don't want to see how you make the sausage. I just want to eat the sausage. You know what I'm good. And it's the weirdest thing is people, they do, what? It blows their mind. When no, I don't want to do this. Well, we got 1,000 people beating our door down to do it. I know, I'm not one of them. Back to this NHL thing, or on the ice. Greg Greg with 2 G's, he writes, and he says, the Jets look like they always have. Not great, but not bad. And it slipped off the page. They haven't been dominant in a while. Randy from Winnipeg says, the Ducks are the only team to beat Vegas. Jeff in Winnipeg says, former Calgary Centennial John Davidson. That is a fact, Jack. John in Winnipeg. Where's my gong? Oh, here it is. I know you'll bear with me. Thanks for your patience. John, gong. When are the New York Rangers going to get some respect? Not much talk on their chances to win it all this year. Isn't that a question, man? Serena and I were talking about that the other day.
Yeah.
It's a little odd that they are the most highest valued team in the National Hockey League. I don't think too many people would pick that out. The Rangers. You would think Leafs Montreal, and they're 2, 3, depending on the year, but the Rangers are number 1. Does that surprise you? And how do you feel about this year's New York Rangers?
You know what? I think the Rangers are going to be good and continue to be good. Good game against Detroit tonight, but I mean, New York's won 8 games already. They've won 8 games. We don't talk about them enough. Jonathan Quick, who's actually had a good start to the season, is their backup goaltender. And I think he's supposed to play tonight, but he hasn't lost in regulation. He's got a goals against average below 2, playing really well. So they've got weapons, they've got goaltending, they've got defense. They're good, really, really good. So they just kind of go under the radar. I don't know why that is, but especially in Canada with the star power and the rivalry that was kind of built between the Leafs and Oiler fans, and they're both struggling. And I think when teams are failing to meet expectations, it gets way more headlines than teams that are meeting expectations.
Well, of course. Sure. Because that's not fun.
Yeah.
You know, it's quite interesting when Wayne from Victoria wrote in here the other day and said, why is everybody so negative? I'm like, it's because everybody's unhappy. That's why they'd rather crap on somebody. And the thing is with this coaching, it's quite interesting with the Flames. They win one game in Seattle, and you haven't heard squat out of Calgary at all. One game. That's all it took. So what's going to happen if they win 2, 3, 4? I'll tell you what's going to happen. They're going to shoot right up in the standings like a rocket. It reminds me, somebody mentioned today, they're like, you can talk WHL more if you want. I'm like, you know as well as anybody, I could do 2 hours a day talking about junior hockey. The problem is, would anybody watch it? It's not like I'm not following it. Up until a week ago, the first place team and the 6th place team in the East were separated by 2 points in the Western Hockey League. The NHL is the same.
I know.
So everybody's just, skating in quicksand right now, and some are going to sink and some are going to get out of it. From Puffy Lover. Ha! Puffy Lover, that's the name, writes in and he says, the Oilers aren't struggling. They just don't want to peak too early. Jeff in Winnipeg says, I was today years old hearing Jonathan Quick is a backup for the Rangers. Hey, I get it. You're sitting there living in Winnipeg, and you're in your Winnipeg bubble, following the Jets and the Bombers, and if I recall, the Georgia Bulldogs is your college team, which thanks for reminding me about the college football note. I had Moose. But it was Jonathan Quick who beat the Oilers when the Rangers were up through there. We'll talk more about this with Barney when he joins us next, Matthew Barnaby. But Quick got the win for the Rangers in in Edmonton here a couple weeks ago. Colin in Ottawa writes then, and he says, because the Rangers don't have a rival Canadian team in their division. Bingo. That's why you don't hear as much about the Rangers. That makes a lot of sense, although these days there is this thing called the internet where you can follow whatever you want. Colin from Ottawa, can you please tell us if you're following what Sean Simpson's doing on his podcast, which just launched, tell us what you think about it. Because, again, he's lighting the Ottawa Senators on fire. Frankly, I find it endlessly entertaining. Clearly, he does not ever expect to work for the Ottawa Senators. And that's why with the things that I say here, although they're not that damning, I know that it's pissed off a lot of people. But at this point, I don't care. I'm not looking for a job. But tonight, and I do not want to put you on the spot in terms, because I don't know the answer to this, and I don't assume you do, but is Dunk around? Is Dunk anywhere within shouting distance of you?
I don't know. He might be in the other room, but we're all closed off here, so I'm actually not sure.
Darren and Dunk are in Vancouver, so everybody knows. But Curtis Rourke, this is that MAC conference plays Tuesday night games. It was the Middle America Conference, MAC Conference. For whatever reason, they came up with the idea that they should play Tuesday night games because they would have all of Tuesday to themselves. Genius. So Ohio tonight plays at Buffalo. I believe it's the Buffalo Bulls. Barney would know. He's joining us next. But that's Nathan Rourke's little brother, Curtis, playing for the Ohio Bobcats, the #1 prospect in the CFL draft this spring. And he didn't play last week, Curtis. I saw him play here in Boca Raton, and he looked pretty good. You watched some of the video that I posted. He's 6'5". He was the biggest guy on the field. You know, what do you want? He's kind of got like a Tannehill thing about him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not overly mobile. He's not Doug Flutie. He's not even Nathan. Yet they say he's way better than his brother. So anyways, find out from Dunk. Obviously, you don't have time now because we got to take a break. But what's the deal with Curtis Rourke and why he's not playing for Ohio? Because his team's playing tonight. I'd love to.
Yeah, just taking a look right now. Here's a quote on the Ohio football feed. There's still a chance until there isn't a chance. It's a big game for Curtis Rourke. So they're talking about whether he's going to play or not. But they're not saying for certain he is or he isn't. So it sounds like it's going to go right up until game time if he's going to play.
Oh, there you go. That's tonight as they play Buffalo. Okay, Moose, you're done. Great job. Appreciate you. Go enjoy Vancouver.
Okay. Thank you.
Matthew Barnaby's in next. We're live on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Hi, my name is Logan Stankoven. And I'm Connor Bedard. We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors. There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life. Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers, Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with The Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
It's the most interactive show on television and radio, the RP Show. Fire your questions at us, 902-518-3033. That's the Sober Carpenter text line, non-alcoholic craft beers, or the YouTube feed. Matthew Barnaby joins us, 18th all-time in penalty minutes. And Barney, you're going to jump right into it. If you don't mind, I see you're back home. Glad to see you traveled safely. Bomber Boy in Calgary writes in, and he says, hey, it feels like the NHL kept the new Ottawa owner in the dark about the Dadonov ordeal. Does Ottawa have a legitimate bone to pick with how the NHL handled the sale of the Senators? Can we jump right into it? You must have thoughts on that.
Yeah, nice to be on, buddy. Keep up the good work. And ridiculous that you spend almost $1 billion American and you are kept out of the dark, not only of the Dadonov thing, but the Shane Pinto thing. Inexcusable. Yeah, I mean, this is, you have a guy that's coming into the league as a new-time owner. You know, he was part of the Montreal Canadiens in a limited ownership. I think it was 20%. But transparency should have been there from Gary Bettman, Bill Daly, the whole NHL, and Pierre Dorian, who's a friend of mine. All of this should have been on the table. So he's not walking into this. There's so much hope at the start of the year, and now it's like doom and gloom. And the next probably to go is going to be DJ Smith if they don't turn this around very quickly. So Michael Andlauer is great for the Ottawa Senators, but total Bush League, what's happened to him over the last 30 days.
Well, my first thought was this. Going to Mr. Andlauer, do you want to go back on the deal? Do you want your money back? What do you think? Is he just complaining, or is it, you know what I mean? What would he say, do you think?
No, I still think he wants to be an NHL owner. I just don't think this is the way he wanted to come into it. You know, it was all great and ovations at the rink, and then now it's, you know, you get the Shane Pinto thing for what it is. You get the Dadonov thing for what it is. It's just, you know, it's not how you want to start your tenure as a brand new owner. You want to start and have it exciting. And right now, there's nothing exciting about the Ottawa Senators off the ice, on the ice, and losing that first round pick, which is huge. They have a lot of great young players. But no, I don't think he would go back on the deal. I think he's still very excited to be an NHL owner. Unfortunately, last 30 days has been pretty darn tough for him.
I tell you what, here's a fun one for you, Barney. I don't know you that well, but I know you well enough that I think you'd enjoy this. Sens fans booed their team the other day, and Brady Tkachuk said he didn't like it. Leafs fans booed their team last night. Then they come back and win. After all the time I've spent here in South Florida, I haven't, until now, lived in America like you. I feel like the glare on Canadian NHL teams is way more intense than on NFL teams in America. Canadian NHL versus on any of their teams. New York aside, Yankees, Giants, that's another animal. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just, man, it's intense in Canada. I got to see why coaches and players, some say no thanks.
Yeah, it's not easy, and I'd agree with you. You know, the NFL is the biggest sport in North America, but it's not under a microscope and played out the way that it is in Canada. We can go to Calgary when they're playing bad. I know the pressure. I was just out in Vancouver. Fortunately for that team, they're playing very well. Edmonton, what's going on there? You can't go to a city and not talk about their sports teams. It's just impossible. Every conversation revolves around their NHL team. And that's what the same thing is in New York, because there's so many different teams that play within a 20-mile radius. So, you know, you might get one team or another, but it's not like pulling into Edmonton or Vancouver or Calgary, wherever it may be. You are going to have a conversation about that hockey team. So a lot of guys don't want that pressure. I understand, and I love Brady Tkachuk coming to the defense of DJ Smith. it's not fun getting booed. It's not fun getting booed, and I understand it. And the hardest thing is trying to get out of a funk when you feel like everyone's against you. And yeah, these guys, everyone works hard. It just comes down. And I watched the Edmonton game the other day, yesterday, on my way home. Listen, I had enough problems with my New York Jets. That's another story for another day. But a team like Edmonton, they just don't defend well. And it's not like they aren't trying. They're just attention to detail is very little, and they can't get a stop. Calgary has a lot of those same problems. So I think when you look at good teams and bad teams, the good teams consistently are good defensively. You're going to have times where you go through maybe a week or two where you have trouble scoring, but your staple always has to be defense.
Well, sure. Defense wins championships, save for the 80s Oilers, and we'll never see that again. Well, it seems to be a popular question in the NHL right now. If you were running the Oilers, what do you do first?
Man, well, so there's no way if they lose to San Jose coming up that they don't have a new coach in place by, let's say, Thursday or Friday. I think it's impossible to go ahead. They need to stop. They need goaltending, and unfortunately, they put themselves in a place with their salary cap that Jack Campbell they thought was the answer after 3/4 of a good year in Toronto. I never thought that was the right answer. Skinner was great last year, but they need a save. But this team just has to commit to playing hard defensively. And right now, it's not going to come from the outside. It has to come from within. And you can see the frustration building, not only with the coaching staff, but the players. And the media is not going to stop asking the questions until they turn it around. So they have a big game coming up, and I don't think there's any way Woodcroft lasts if they lose to the San Jose Sharks, who are a borderline AHL team right
now. I saw them here; they're awful. But this is the conundrum. You see teams turfing coaches all the time that are bad teams. We went into the year; the Oilers were like hands down Canada's best team. Like, what the hell's going on? This shouldn't happen, and it shouldn't happen, man.
Well, you look at San Jose at the start of the year. You're not going to can their coach right now, right? Like, no one expected them to be good. Ottawa, we expected them to take a step forward. Montreal, you're not canning Marty St. Louis if you're 10 games under 500 through 50 games. The expectations are what sets the parameters on how we judge these coaches. So, Edmonton is expected to be a top-tier team and compete for a Stanley Cup. And if they aren't anywhere near that, well, you can't trade all these players. You're not trading Connor McDavid. You're not trading Leon Draisaitl. You're not trading a lot of those guys, and some of the guys are untradeable. So it's where you go. They're going to try and pick your good players from you. The only other way to do it is through a coaching change, and hopefully you gain a spark. You don't have a lot of options.
Bingo. Lastly, I want to say this. I've been waiting to mention it to you while we have had Ted Nolan on since you were last on. And I told, well, maybe you guys speak regularly. I don't know. But I told him, that you love him, man. And that's the first time I've ever talked about him on camera or not. What a gem. What a gem, man. I mean, did you still ever figure out what went down in Buffalo? Because I get the sense he doesn't. I mean, he's moved on, but he did. What a scar.
Yeah, listen, I know probably 90% of stuff that went on. In the end, John Muckler and Teddy did not get along. They didn't agree with the personnel that should be there. And I love Teddy, but there's stuff when you have bosses, you have to be very careful on how you deal with it. Having said that, we love Teddy. I always liked John Muckler. God rest his soul. He drafted me. But there was just so much stuff behind the scenes every single day. We used to call it the schmozzle because you had no clue what was going to happen when we walked into that rink. But Teddy is talking about transparency and a great person, a great family man, a great coach, a great friend. He is all the above. He doesn't pretend to be anything more than just a great guy and a guy that loves the game of hockey. So love him. Don't talk to him as much as I probably should. And after this, I'm going to reach out because you reminded me, stay in touch with the people you really love in this world. He certainly is one of those guys.
Yeah, he's got a book out, and I won't keep you because your dog obviously needs to get outside. Life in Two Worlds is his new book, and I just feel like you and I'd love to just talk about it. We need another 2.5-hour drive together to talk about all this stuff. But 2 years later, the Sabres are in the Stanley Cup final. So as dysfunctional as it was, they ended up doing something right. I don't know. So, Barney, listen, thanks again. Enjoy the hockey. Hopefully we can do it again soon.
Hey, cheers. Enjoy the weather. Have a great day. And Western Canada, love you guys.
Thanks, bud. 18th all-time in NHL penalty minutes and best-selling author Matthew Barnaby. We'll be right back with Overtime after this on the Game Plus Television Network, WQE E-Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven. And I'm Connor Bedard. We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at IKSGameDay.com.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hell, tell you what, by hook or by crook, it is the most interactive show on television, radio, and streaming, the RP Show, and that's what this segment's for. Your feedback, 902-518-3033. My good friend Mike, the oil man, he's writing me from Hawaii regarding my commentary today, which you can always read if you can't get enough. In the 2 hours, you can go to rodpeterson.com every day, and my commentary today was about watching Cole Sillinger here last night in Sunrise, and that if he wants to become the best player, NHL player in Regina history, his hometown, he's going to need to get on a better team. And Mike in Hawaii has written me, and he said, who else do you have on the Mount Rushmore of Regina teams? And I said, Regina players, sorry. Ryan Getzlaff, Chris Kunitz, Bill Hickey, Murray Belfour, Eddie Litzenberger. The last two won Stanley Cups with Chicago. He has voted for Ryan Getzlaff. Calgary, our second home. Tell me, folks, what's the best NHL player from Calgary? It's a long list, I would think. Are we putting Mike Vernon up there? I am. As a goalie guy, 2 Stanley Cups, Hall of Fame, sure. Overtime, by the way, is brought to you by Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary, where skill and fun collide. It's an amusement park for hockey enthusiasts. Yeah, I can't wait to get back to Calgary. That's where my mind went. I won't be there until the snow's long gone, no doubt. But go check them out. Tell me how it is. Call ahead of time and book your lane at Overtime Hockey Lanes. Look up Randy and Michelle and tell them the RP Show sent you. They'll give you a good seat in the bathroom. Overtime Hockey Lanes, 28th Street Northeast, just a slap shot away from the old Crossroads Flea Market. I'm telling you, man, with the glare, I'm not telling you anybody in Alberta something you don't know, that you don't already know, that the hockey talk in Alberta is off the charts. Off the charts. It's not just people coming up to me in the mall or the gas station or the restaurant because they now recognize me as the guy with the show. You just overhear people talking in all those places and more about the Flames or in Edmonton, the Oilers. And what Tim Hunter said, he goes, you think it's intense in Calgary? And by the way, when it was the Tkachuk and Gaudreau will they or won't they thing 2 summers ago, it was unbearable. Unbearable. I could at least go to my room at the Grey Eagle and cover my head with a pillow and turn it all off. It's insane. And Hunter says it's next level in Toronto. It's another level. And I'm like, I don't think I could handle that. There ain't nothing like that here for any team. That's why I say I think the glare is more in Canada for an NHL team than anywhere else. Save the New York for the Yankees and their NFL teams because you get it there for them, for sure. A quick read of the sports update, then back into the viewer comments. We're kind of running out of time, and that's on me. There are no games in the NBA tonight, but there are 14 scheduled for Wednesday, including the Toronto Raptors playing in Dallas. Raps are 3-4 and won their first road game on Sunday when they took off the Spurs in overtime. Only 3 teams are unbeaten heading into today's third day of action at the Canadian Mixed Curling Championship in Swift Current. Scott McDonald's Ontario team leads Pool A at 2-0. Jamie Cooey of the Territories is 3-0 in Pool B. Kyle Kurz's Manitoba crew has a 2-0 record in Pool B. 3 draws today in Swift Current at the Curling Club. Sports updates for Landmark Cinemas in theaters November 17th. Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes in theaters November 17th. The latest Hunger Games starring Rachel Zegler and Tom Blythe. And brought to you by Common Crown Brewing Company, turning your everyday common beer into a unique and exceptional experience. Visit commoncrown.ca. Back into the viewer comments, and we didn't get... Now, Darcy is watching in Grand Prairie, Alberta, and he says, let's put the heat on Rogers to open up the vault for Ohtani. What do you think, Clark? Is there a chance? Why not? Yeah, let's give it a shot. I'm with you. The Angels were hot garbage. They couldn't even make the playoffs with Ohtani. Imagine what the Blue Jays could do. Yeah, I'm with you. I think the Blue Jays and Rogers are going to listen to the Rod Pedersen Show in our audience. We can try. On the Manning cast, again, more discussion on this than I thought there would be. When you get a minute, Clark, look up what the vote is there, if you don't mind. Are you a fan of the Manning cast? And I'll look it up on Twitter. 56% say no. On Twitter, 54% say yes, 23% say no, and 23% say the what?
Spicy.
The Manning cast, where Eli and Peyton Manning sit in their living rooms separately and watch the Monday Night Football game together, and the audience tunes in to watch what they think about the game. I could think of less interesting things. I watched it last week, and I couldn't. I was too distracted. Brian in Manitoba says, I caught the Mannings Monday Night Football take on TSN game last year, watched maybe 2 minutes and flipped channels. I have to agree with you, Rod. Super distracting and haven't been back since. Some people love it. It's not for me. Max is in Toronto. Yeah, Max writes in and he says, what do the Stampeders have to do to solve their stadium issue? Renovate? Yeah. We don't have time for that, Grasshopper. It's like a Steve Martin would say. First, get $1 billion. That's where we start. Yeah, done. We're out. Thanks for playing, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow, Wednesday, right? It's going to be a good one. Thanks to Barney and Julio and all of you people, and we'll see you at noon Eastern tomorrow.
Who has more fun than us?